I firmly believe that the Carolina Panthers will win the NFC South again in 2026. Today, I'm going to be breaking down my futures pick for which team will win the NFC South, obviously being the Panthers, and discuss how I see the ordering for this division this upcoming year. Before I continue on, make sure to hit the like button on this video, comment below who do you see winning the NFC South, and subscribe so you don't miss out on all the fantastic betting content that is going to be coming out during this football season. So, as I stated, I believe that the Panthers are going to win this division. And I feel like, based on the current odds, that the Panthers are the team that's being the most disrespected. I've said this before. I did this in my sleeper team video that I did where I discussed why I love the Panthers win total for it to hit, because a lot of people are disregarding what the Panthers are capable of despite showing so many positive things. I want to reiterate my big reason why I like the Panthers compared to the rest of the teams in this division. There is understandably a big question mark on, can Bryce Young play more consistently? Can he establish a steady pace of play throughout the entire year instead of the ups and downs that caused them to have the disappointing record that they did? They were able to win the division because young core, interesting roster, but the inconsistent offensive play and performance from Bryce Young held them back in moments. I think one thing has been proven, that older quarterbacks, their peak usually happens multiple years into their career. For the most part, many of the top quarterbacks rarely hit their true stride until the end of their rookie contracts. I have been a big advocate for Bryce Young in believing that we need to give him the benefit of the doubt. We need to give him time to get comfortable with the game. And it felt like last year we were starting to see that. I thought in the playoff game, in a moment where it mattered the most, we saw a more comfortable Bryce Young. But remove Bryce Young for 2 seconds. This roster is quietly very good. They were very, very aggressive this offseason in doing everything that they needed to address their biggest needs. They've got injuries along their offensive line, despite having an underrated offensive line, so they went and got Monroe Freeling, and they also got Sam Hesht, who I think could be the starting center for this team in the future. They bolstered their defense, despite having an interesting defense. They added a guy that can produce a lot of pressures in Jalen Phillips. They spent the money. They added Devin Lloyd, who is great at forcing turnovers. They added Lee Hunter into the mix. I think that they have the best front seven in this division. I also believe that their offense could capably be quite explosive through the air. I think that Tetairoa McMillan has been a budding star in Carolina. And now that Chris Brazzell is in the mix, they'll have a nice 1-2 punch with a player who can be an explosive deep threat who's still learning the nuances of the position, and a guy that you know that you can count on when you throw the ball in his direction, plus Jalen Coker, who continues to be very unheralded. The Panthers had the best offseason in my eyes of any team. I put them up there with what the Browns did and what the Rams. The Rams are in a completely different conversation, different category, because they were a Super Bowl team, Super Bowl favorite that went to the clear, obvious favorite to create a ton of separation. Their offseason was incredible. But for the Panthers to take this jump from improving team with question marks to talented squad that has the chance to really hit its stride, I think that they will win this division. In a division that is often highly contested, there are chances for them to sweep some of their opponents in the NFC South. With that being said, the team that I like in second is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 164. I think that the Buccaneers, after I was deliberating between them and the Saints, they are capable of doing what they've done consistently, which is sticking around 500. I think that Ruben Bain potentially could be a really dangerous piece for them, as their defensive line has been quite good. Need more consistency out of their secondary. And I think that Baker Mayfield also, when he's healthy, needs to be more consistent as well. I just don't see a world where the Buccaneers, if we're comparing the two rosters, that this Panthers roster is not better than the Buccaneers roster. This Bucs roster is good. It's done everything that it's needed to stay afloat. Emeka Egbuka is going to be key for this team continuing to be dangerous through the air. They're going to hopefully get back to running the ball well with Bucky Irving. but I like a lot more what the Panthers bring to the table with this young core. At third and one of the bigger wild cards in this division, the Saints at plus 265 could end up finishing in second because Kellen Moore is a great coach. He has activated his team. He activated it down the stretch. I think that Tyler Shuck showed a lot of positive signs for what he could be. Their offensive line is really underrated. They have new weapons in the fold with Jordan Tyson and also Bryce Lance, along with Chris Olave returning. There's a chance that this offense takes a huge stride. I'd love to see what they're going to be this upcoming year defensively because their front seven has been very up and down, has not been super reliable despite their having been early draft investment in that unit. Defensively, I can't get all the way in on the Saints because of that. I think that there's a lot more balance to be had with a team like the Panthers and also even with a team like the Buccaneers. To round things out, I don't think that the Falcons are going to be very good this year. Plus 425 for a reason. They're not going to win this division. I do not feel threatened by this Falcons team. It comes a lot from the fact, not because they don't have a dynamic core of weapons with Bijan Robinson and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and the improving pass rush that they had that last year shockingly performed really well, despite having it being a big problem for them in previous seasons. I feel like the offensive line has gradually regressed, and the fact that you have to go and get Jawan Taylor as a duct tape guy to help fix this unit is a problem. And there is such a concern at quarterback. Your solution, because Michael Penix hasn't played well and he can't stay healthy, is going and getting Tua, who also hasn't played well and can't stay healthy. Just had the same guy twice over. Not the same talent because Penix has a bigger arm and Tua's a little bit more accurate and quick trigger. I don't feel threatened by this team because they don't have a quarterback that can take them over the top. If there was a world where all of the teams, like we always see in this division, are somewhere between 10-7 and 7-10, because all these teams are pretty similar and for the most part they split with one another, it wouldn't shock me if that doesn't end up happening. But the Falcons, to me, are going to be at the bottom, being the 7-10 team with whatever order this ends up pacing out. The Falcons are the one team in this division that just does not have a dynamic quarterback worth emotionally investing in and also financially investing in. One of the smartest financial decisions you can have for this upcoming year, if you're placing futures bets for divisions, for the Super Bowl, for the MVP, whatever it is, do not touch the Atlanta Falcons. Don't touch their win total. There is zero positive reasoning to buy into this team because they have such a problem at quarterback. Again, comment below who you think is going to win the NFC South this upcoming year. If you agree with me or disagree with me, hit the like button on this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content this season. We'll talk to you later.